In the future, when you stop remembering this summer, there will be nothing holding us up. Listen to the rush inside your mind. You can live in this moment. You can be so close to the last days of summer. And you know that life will end. Eventually. Death seems so brutal. Our lives are flashing in front of us. Another moment where you cannot write. You cannot put pen to paper, cannot even let it out. Because we are twisted together. In the classroom you are still weeping, while you are daydreaming. If there is nothing happy here, where do we belong? If there is nothing solid here, how will we stop ourselves from sinking through? And all of the sad songs in the world never could touch our poverty. We live every day in ways that no one will ever help us. And I will never admit that I was wrong in the mistakes I made. And from now on, every word I write will be part of a love song. Every day that goes on will describe the day the bombs fell, the day the skyscrapers exploded into a billion pieces, when the civilized world was destroyed. I knew I'd never find you again, lost in the crowd. This is what pain feels like. We've been waiting for thousands of years, but I will outlast those years. To see beautiful objects and not to love them. To feel a longing for grace. We are alone in the dark world, and I know the words are never adequate, and we know that the only way to live is to learn how to die. And I dream about you sometimes. I dream that the world is brighter. I wrote a poem about the way we are not meant to end up in this world forever. Love holds the world together. And I still love you even when you lose touch with reality, start hearing voices and forget what love means. Tears. Every word I say is fragile, shatters before it is understood. This morning I forgot what day it was, and I get up and go to work, a slave across the ocean, dying with every breath. A martyr at the stake, entangled in heresy, choosing to believe something different, wishing you'd respond to me. You need to feel, and I wish that I could comfort you in the moment of death. Just fast forward to it. Forget what day it is. The day you die, you fall in line, succumb to a new disease. Hope is the moment I first saw you. Pain is believing that God can turn back time so that I've never heard your voice. Death is the only one telling me you can still hear me. No one looking back on this will say that this was ever fair. One day you're alive and well, the next you're dead and gone. People like Christina Grimmie were part of this world too. And now we walk as shadows, as if nothing happened. As if we could forget ourselves. Running another mile, keep breathing, keep pushing, moving forward. What you see ahead of you slowly becomes where you are. Your feet take you where you want to go. And the air is so frigid, but you keep going on. And you long for the days of summer and end to the winter coldness. The words I want to write are never the ones I say. I cannot describe you. It causes me unbearable pain. I cannot imagine what life is like for you. I can say it over and over again. It will change absolutely nothing. And it is truly tragic. We will be gone, we will be alone, and maybe then we will find each other. Every day was worth it. From now on, life becomes a cycle, and my heart has been cold for years. The heart is gone, and I need to break the truth. I want to give the gift, but I destroy it and come to a sorry end. On the day of your funeral, denial has taken root, and this pain is like the day I learned how cruel the world was, as if the world had suddenly turned against you. If that's the case, the world is my enemy too. I would have always been there for you. There will never be peace in my heart. There will never be peace on earth. In the city we all walk by on the street, and I wonder if in the next 300 years, anyone will still be here, and if they will be dealing with the same problems, writing down our dreams on a notepad every day when we wake up, and then we read them to each other, so we will never forget them. Ella Sturm forgets her past. She knows what it is like to live her life alone, and she will never be happy. Unfortunately, she is about to die and fade out of existence. How we face our death tells us the most about who we are. I only have one thing to say that I've been trying to tell you for years. What we have never realized is what matters the most in the world. While we waste time going to class and then working at a dead-end job, we used to hear so much music and we understood its meaning, but we have suddenly forgotten. I just started to realize how old I've become. When we don't speak to each other, how can we hope to know anything? The days that pass in my desk job, waiting for the world to implode at the end. The world was celebrating, living riotously. No images in my mind, just abstractions that are never viable. We return to the notebooks in which we wrote down our dreams. You tell me that you are so incredibly scared of death and the judgment. When I was 10 years old, I felt comfort and peace in the words you said to me. On a trip to the beach, and I saw the crashing waves despite the encroaching storm. The hours are silent, waiting here for what may or may not be forever. I wait for you when I fall asleep and dream of you. And you're staring at your phone, reading old messages. There's something about music that words cannot express. I collapse into the arms of the ones who feel my pain, writing poems about those I don't know, but they are dead. Not enough energy to write or to get anything done. I cannot complete what I set out to do. I still stand here. I will always answer you, even if you become my enemy. On the day of her best friend's funeral, she stands in the back of the room. She is done weeping. Running down the alleyway. One day we will escape, and we will be together as the best of friends. All I do at home is listen to Silverstein records, remembering the days when breathing was not painful. We have to let the words out because we do not understand what they mean. We'll find out in several years if the songs that defined our relationship lose their meaning or not. These streets are freezing over like my heart. I'm forgetting the dreams I had when I was a child. Priests die like forgotten shadows. I'm overly analytical. You have a voice. You only need to speak. Words can change the world, change how you feel. Ellen knows the world is falling in front of her because whatever she imagines materializes. She walks the streets and sees people and can feel their pain. There is something swelling in humanity now, something dying to be known. And I walk through the Washington, D.C. streets, having compassion for the entire world I see. I sit in the business classroom, and I dream about the way the world would be had we never been isolated from the ones we loved. Demons whispering in the night, communion is severed. Ellen knows her heart is also severed, missing from her chest. The curse laid upon her. She goes from city to city. I know what you cannot get your head around. The poets who are not worthy of the name never spoke out against the injustice, which I have such forward hatred for, remembering youth, embracing decay like the flowers I laid on your grave. We never know the nature of human consciousness, but that is just fine. Sometimes poems give me peace. At the metro station, the train is late. I start sketching out words. I find it hard to write anything but love poems. I lost my voice a long time ago. The emotion felt from the music will never be felt again. We forget poems more easily than any other form of language. We coast through a world with no concern for the miracles we see. Blank pages we've glossed over. Childhood fades. In the same way, there is nothing I can do for you. You only see shades of black, like the flowers you laid on my tomb. Those too will wither away. An ancient curse comes back to bite us. The answer to the questions you never asked me. I feel desperate to get out of my skin. We have so much passion because we are coming closer to the day when all of us will go our separate ways and never see each other again. The only stories worth telling are the ones in which we are alive and we still communicate and in which you still listen. So many people are suffering and I don't want them to. Writing down the fine details of life, we do not have time for that. We are suffering. Music gives us unity. Music evokes my thoughts and tells me that the next day will be more painful than each previous day. We step outside and watch the sunset together. I am always there for you, and you cannot deal with the loss of the ones you love more than life. The end will come without our permission. This story will come to a tragic end. The day we die, we will not realize that we did nothing with our lives. There is no safe space for us. Poetry turns language into rubble, and grief fills us with despair. The most important messages are lost in the clutter of the words that are meaningless to us, that carry no power or importance. Write down whatever you want to, and someone has to care, even if they are the only one. We have become so comfortable with despair that we sleep in it. The look on your faces when you look at the TV screen and see the beginning of the next world war. You don't know what you want, because there is no God. It's amazing how within the universe anything is possible. There is no law of nature. You have so much pain inside you. You know that Ella will one day die. You know that we only fall in love with what appears to be beautiful. You know that her insides are beautiful. This might be the last time I reach out for you. This might be the last time I call your name. I am a ghost walking through these hallways. Why wait for eternity, when the mundane exists here and now? Because when you're dead, the only thing that will happen is nothing. Divide the myth from what is certain. What you know, the burning flames in the night, are real.